It's another video from Ozzy's Robot. Brought to you by the Banana Collection.
Boop-a-doodly-doo, bomb, ba-ba-ba-ba. Hey everyone, welcome back to You Pick It Friday, the conclusion of the trilogy of videos. And as always, before we get into it, kick back in your most comfortable Barco lounger, and if it's morning, grab your steaming, delicious, sweltering cup of coffee, stir it, clank it, grab a snack, and now focus. And pay attention to what is undoubtedly the highlight of human civilization, post-war toys from Japan. Notice I didn't say tin because this one is completely made out of plastic. So with that out of the way, I'm concluding my disgusting to you. Anyway, so yes, this was actually this was the first request, but it's the last video. And, for a while, I thought this was the only example of this toy, and it still could very well be. So here is the chronology, if you will. The only example I saw was this car selling at Mandarake auctions in 2021, and it sold for a blistering, I think it was equivalent to $8,200 again in 2021. And in 2023 at the Heritage auctions, it sold for an astounding $15,000. Yes, this car sold for as much as a used, nice Honda Civic from the early 2000s. Now, the other thing I noticed was there was one other color version of this car, believe it or else. So now, it's undoubtedly rare, so there's that. And the one thing I noticed at the Mandarake auction is that their starting bid was, that 8,200, I think like 1.2 million yen. So it only had one bid, and that person knew what they were doing because, you know what, they doubled their value, right? So probably didn't have a long shelf life if you handle this the way kids normally would, banging it around. The plastic gets hard, brittle, cracks, and it gets thrown away. So there's that. Now, I happen to love orange toys, just the visual appeal. They pop. So let's first go to this box, because I find it kind of cool and unusual. Now, I always look, to me, the way you do your forensic investigation of the toy, right, like the history, is by looking at the box to see if any of these, if you want to call them defects or flaws, line up. So I did look at the Mandarake box closely. It sort of had hints of this wear here, but I can't conclusively confirm if it was this exact box or not. So it could be that there's two of these, who knows? But either way, it's, again, unquestionably rare. And it does depict the Barris Batmobile, which, in my opinion, is the coolest one. I do like the one that, what's-his-face, Keaton had in the 89 Batman movie, but this, to me, is always going to be the number one. The Capo di Capo, the Primo. And I'm kind of like perplexed why they use kind of like the pink and blue. That's just not common. I don't think I've seen that in any other toy, but anyway, it's got a pink surround here. And now, what else could they have used? I guess red. So it's sort of like an odd color choice. But here's Batman, kind of in his 60s comic style. And it's in English, so it's, probably licensed. And then you go back to the pink. Maybe it's because they used the flesh tone here. Who knows? But it's the Batman car. Here's your Batman car here. And again, Fujimaru. I call it Fujimara, but it's Fujimaru. Fujimaru toys. And now, if you go to Heritage auctions, right, and this is the one from Heritage, it says It's not for sale, but you're welcome to make an offer to the owner. Around 22,500. So I guess they take inflation into account. I don't think there's anything in here. Just some packing material. So let's close this up. Now, the sticker on the front actually is not glued, so this is loose. So I'm going to pop it off for now. We'll save it. That's extremely rare as well. Probably one of the reasons it sold for as much as it did. And here's the car. I don't recall. Now, you know, some people would say, well, how would you know that it was placed there? Because if you look here, you can see the adhesive residue in a circular pattern right here. So it's kind of like easy to, you know, figure that part out. And here is the car. And look at Batman. This is kind of like vinyl-y head. This might have been used in some other toys. It's got a yellow body. My assumption is that this body might have been used on other toys and just kind of a head swap. I do have that, what is the name of that toy? Kind of looks like Peak Man. But anyway, the cars, I thought the car was the same, but that car is much bigger. Can't think of it off the top of my head. This is why I took the sticker off, because so you can see the bottom here has the FMG Volcano logo. That's kind of a cool logo, all plastic, but it's tabbed in, right, for the motor. That's the sound of that friction motor. Actually, nice and powerful. This could have easily been a model kit. You know, it wouldn't have been all that hard to assemble. Would have been a lot of fun. And then, of course, I got this cool sticker back here. I'm guessing that a lot of the value in this lies in its, well, obviously scarcity, rarity, and having the stickers. And this might be the only one in the world that has that hood sticker, except maybe the bluish one I saw. See, you can't really rev it all that much on this surface. Boing. By the way, he's got a cool steering wheel, but no other details in there. They could have taken the time to put some details on the in the cockpit. So let's put this original sticker. I was thinking of gluing it, but you know, glue or adhesive sometimes is acidic and it gets brown. So I guess if somebody knows what kind of adhesive doesn't have that acidic property, let me know in the comments, and maybe I'll use some of that and kind of stick it on there. But obviously I keep it safe in the case. And I don't think I did a riddle. I had my son run out to grab some food. But we'll conclude with a riddle today. So the conclusion of You Pick It Week with this cool Batman car. And the riddle of the day will be, what are full all day and empty at night? Full all day and empty at night. I'm not going to guess. I will let you guess. And again, not crazy about the robot designs. They're kind of lazy designs, if you ask. Almost like AI generated, if you want to know the truth. All right, are we ready? Definitely not toilets, but let's see. The answer is shoes. Well, that may not necessarily be true, so I don't know. The Chinese got to do their homework. There's a lot of workers at night, man, at the bars and everywhere else. So police, firemen. So I don't know that that's necessarily true, but anyway, that's a look at your Fujimaru plastic Batman car. And, you know, I got to say that, like, Japanese plastic in general is not that common. I mean, they had some, but, like, compared to the tin, it doesn't seem like it was their go-to material compared to, like, Americans like Ideal and Marx, right? We had Big Lou, we had Electric Robot and Son and all those things. So I think once the Japanese honed their craft in the tin, they were kind of like, you know what? I don't really want to mess with plastic. Maybe they had all the tooling, so to like scale up for this. And by the way, if I didn't show you, there's also some cool stickers. I don't want to neglect showing this since it was requested. Look at the patterning there, how cool it is. This is actually staying on board. And it would have been nice, by the way, if they added Robin into this cockpit, but they actually, you know, made it sealed here. So that's not cool, Fujimaru. Why did you do that? We could add Robin in here. I think if Robin would have been in here, it would have freaking really been awesome. I mean, even a couple more stickers, you know. You could add some embellishments on the door, a couple of Batman logos on the door, Robin, and this thing would have been really, really kick-ass, in my opinion. But, you know, for whatever reason, maybe this was a very low-end toy for the time, and, you know, it could be like the only explanation. So with that, my friends, this concludes You Pick It Week, and thanks for the several suggestions. I may do it again at another case. But with that, as always, I appreciate your time. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. That would be greatly appreciated. And if you like it, thumb up the video with that. Enjoy your weekend, my friends, and I will talk to you later.